Okay, so I thought after I made my learn to play bow video yesterday, I thought I have been playing on my Bruiser this week and it's still my primary focus, so I thought I'd at least do a little short video on how I've been going on my Bruiser. I have been focusing a little bit of bow this week just because I've been having fun in the open world, but I think I'm going to get back to focusing on the melee a little bit more. But, you know, I am inclined to switch it up a little bit every now and then. So as I stated, I've been playing on light in this patch because there's just so many ranged players around that you'd be crazy not to be in light, because I just don't want to be a class that can only beat like a specific style. You know, so if I go medium, I'm just never going to be able to chase down those bow users or those mages, so I've been focusing on trying to fight in light armor, and a lot of that has been dueling in it. And so one of the major things is just not being able to face tank as well as I was. Like when I was in medium armor, I was a lot more willing to trade with people and just get in there and do a lot of damage and just make sure that you do more damage to them than they do to you. But with light armor, you can't really do that, especially if they're wearing medium armor. So you play it a little more kitey. But I do love the fact that you can just, like on those ranged opponents when they're trying to get away from you, you can just chase them down so much more easy. It really balances that fight out a little bit. So all in all, I'm really enjoying light armor, like quite a lot. One thing I have been having a lot of fun with is doing OPRs on light armor, especially just getting in there really quickly like you can in mobile armor and then just killing people and then getting out. I tried Hatchet like I said I was going to, but at the moment I still can't seem to get into it, but I really do want to make it work, but especially with next patch, because on the PTO you can actually aim the Hatchet throws, and I really like the idea of that, so I definitely want to get good on the Hatchet. I think a lot of these people that are running around and getting these like huge numbers of kills with the Hatchet have like 50 con, and they've totally invested into just being sort of hit and run, like getting in there, getting the kill, and then getting out. And then they'll just chain CC you. But you can see here, like, I like to just, even though I'm in light armor, I'm still pretty tanky, especially if you just make sure you're standing in the heels. You can get out when you get in a little bit of trouble. But it's just kind of like, I don't want to play that, because then I'm basically just playing like a dexterity type, like a rogue. I don't want to be playing that. I want to play someone that's at least pretty bruisey. Like, I want to play a bruiser that can get in their face and start kind of attacking them. So yeah, that doesn't appeal to me, but so yeah, I feel like I'm having the most success with Great Axe and Warhammer, definitely. And another little tip that seems to be, it sounds so simple, but it really will increase the number of kills you get. Like I've noticed the number of kills that I'm getting has increased quite a lot. Is that just really be careful and just make sure that you're kind of, whenever you do an attack, it's a deliberate attack. You know, because I think sometimes you can get a little bit carried away and just try to rush attacks, and I just don't think that's ever like a good idea to do that. Like, you definitely want to, like, you know, if you're going to go for a reap, just make sure that when you're chasing them, like, you know you can get that reap off. Like right here, I just rush a reap to try to get them, and then I totally miss it. Just take that extra second to make sure that your attack's actually going to land, and just make sure that when you're doing your attacks, they're really deliberate. You're not like just trying to rush through them in the hope that you kill someone. And if you do that, you'll notice that your kills go up quite considerably. Again, I know that it's really simple advice, but you'd be surprised at how many people actually do that. And another thing is, one thing I've come to the conclusion lately is that everyone in New World is actually pretty decent. Like, this is a PvP game. Most people, I think, like, will do OPRs. Most people are doing wars. So, like, it would be quite rare to come across someone who hasn't done any kind of PvP. See, I used to play ESO before this, and we'd go into Cyrodiil in ESO, and it was just really good to, in order to get 1vx's, because you get these people that come into Cyrodiil, but they're like PvEers, and they're just like, so you could like have one person fighting 10 people and wipe them all. So, you know, it was really cool because you felt like really good because you've managed to wipe all these people. And because in Cyrodiil, there's the separation of PvP and PvE, but in this game, like, it's very hard to get away from PvP. Like, the whole game is built around doing wars, controlling, like, territories, pushing influence. So you might like PvE, but at some point you still are going to be involved in PvP, I'm pretty sure. And so I think generally the bar of players in New World is like pretty good. So and just the way the game plays as well, is it's quite hard to pull off those 1vx's, because it's a very skill-based game, and so if you get caught out, you'll get punished for it. So if you're fighting multiple people, you know, it can be a hard thing to pull off. So I think one of the things is you just got to adjust your expectations and enjoy dying. Just get in there, have fun. You know, like for me, like we lose here. People respawn so quickly too, and we lose a lot of the open world fights, but for me it's about the fun of doing them, right? And that's how you improve, is just by like having lots of fights and getting involved. It's also about knowing your position. So if you're an OPR and you're playing a Bruiser, don't stray too far away from the group. Make sure, you know, your role is to dominate an area like a node, and so make sure you dominate that node. And if any bow people are standing outside, like, just don't let them basically come in. And if they come in, bully them until they leave. And don't worry about like racking up heaps of kills or anything like that. I feel like that's kind of like a good way to be successful. But having said that, I'm getting like, you know, I'm getting 10 plus kills in OPRs quite often now. So I feel like that's, you know, like I'm still being really, really effective. I'm still feel like I'm getting good PvP, sorry. But if I was to like go out on my own and try to 1vx on a melee, I think I'd find it quite hard. So it's just about knowing your role and just kind of knowing that the people you're fighting are actually gonna generally be pretty decent. So pulling off those 1vx is gonna be a little bit harder. Anyway, so not really wasn't really a learn to play series this week, more of just like a learn to play ramble. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you at the end of this week with a much bigger learn to play update on the Bruiser.